Hey interwebs, it's JackitK, and here we are with the Egg Viper, the final boss of Sonic's story. We infiltrated the Doctor's lair in the last episode, so today we are bringing to fight the Eggman and ending this all once and for all. At least until the sequel. Anyways, this boss is simple. You basically run around the platform avoiding his attacks until he opens up his cockpit and starts to taunt at you. Now I can already hear you guys saying, JackitK, this is the final boss of the main character's story. How could it be that simple? And to that I reply, let us listen to these voice clips.
See if you can make it through here, Sonic. Take this.
Now I went extra slow on that, cause one, you can never be too safe with this boss fight. Secondly, I feel like that line from Sonic is underrated. I feel like so many people go through that attack so quickly that they never get a chance to hear him actually say it. So from the moment I decided to do this playthrough, I really wanted to make sure that I pointed that out. Now there is actually a consequence for taking too long to counteract the attack. I don't think I've ever seen it, but I'm pretty sure that those lasers he's charging aren't just for show, and if you wait around long enough, he will eventually blast you with it. And if you're still doing your homing attacks when he does finish charging up the laser, you'll die, you'll get hurt, knocked back, and be unable to save yourself. Don't ask me how I know this. I have died while doing the counterattack before. I don't think it was for that particular reason, but it has happened in the past, so it doesn't surprise me if in some alternate universe I have done that. I do believe that one time I have done the light attack to him instead of just homing attack, and die that way, because for some reason I thought it was a good idea. Hey, but enough about that face. What about the new stuff he's doing? After the second hit, he'll start going from the vertical side of the platform and start attacking you that way. When we get to the last or second last hit, he does what he's doing now and completely breaks the other platform and sticks to doing vertical attacks instead of that one where we go from one platform to the other. And now it gets a little tricky because he'll start breaking each edge of the platform. It's gone. And I do believe you can eventually run out of platforms if you take too long to hit them. But we're done. Unfortunately, the rest of this video is going to be just credits. There's no other gameplay left to showcase. So I do apologize for that unhealthy ratio. But dumps the brakes, I don't got anything else left to show. Just one final... Did I just do that? Walk away! All I had to do was walk away, and we'd be done with the Egg Viper and not have to do it 5 million times. I would be finally free from my curse. We could be at the credits now, watching that mashup I made just for it. But no, I had to be a fancy it and do a clinic lightspeed dash for show. All I had to do was walk. Oh, and here's a case and perfect example of how I can die while doing a counterattack. Apparently if you wait too long, he goes away and you don't get flinged to the other side properly. And yeah, those who don't know too much about me, I am cursed. I am cursed to always fail at the Egg Viper. That was the closest I've ever gotten to a perfect run. At least in all my memorable history. And while this doesn't really include anything beyond the past 4 or 2 years of playing this game, I don't think Child Me could do this in one take, so I think that's still a safe assumption. A big part of the problem is I get overconfident and try to do fancy things to spice up the gameplay. No, this is not the dimension where I actually do a lightspeed attack. You fool! You complete and utter fool! Technically, that wasn't a lightspeed attack, the Lightspeed dash into Eggman's face, but I will admit, that was equally as stupid, if not more stupid. By the way, if you just want to get to the end of this boss fight, which I don't blame you, 1130 is your magic number. You're welcome. Now, while I could just cut all this out, which, note to self, be sure to actually cut this out in the mute version, I was planning on using this time to give my retrospect on the Sonic and Tails story, since it would have been a short video otherwise. However, I seem to be doing a really good job just remembering how stupid I was and how horrible I am at the Egg Viper, when it really is a simple fight, at least for me. I could do this so easily if I just... I mean, the thing is, I should do this so easily. I know exactly what to do, yet for some reason, whether it be my cockiness or something in the game itself, but mostly on my end, that just makes this fight drag out much longer than it needs to be. I will never understand how I could do this boss fight so badly. I can understand a new player struggling with this boss fight. It can be tricky. He does spice up his attack patterns quite a bit, but I know what I'm doing, so why am I failing? If I don't start giving my closing thoughts now though, when will I? I'm not sure if we saw that attack before, but yeah, if you stand on one side and then move over to the other side last second, you can dodge the attack just fine. You don't even have to run, as I properly show. See, I know what I'm doing with this guy. I know exactly how you're supposed to dodge each and every one of his attacks, yet I don't follow my own advice. And that's why this boss fight drags out so much. I get freaking impatient. Getting impatient in a Sonic game? Who would have saw that coming?
Get on the spinning needle and you can make it to the cockpit.
Thanks, Glowing Light. I totally needed that. It's not like I got to the final phase of this fight on my own without your help. You're just making me look more of an idiot than I actually am. Anyways, as for my thoughts on Sonic and Tails' story, well, what can I really say about Sonic's story? Minus the fact that I suck at it. It's a classic. It gives us the gameplay that we expect from Sonic, and gameplay I personally love for it. It's not perfect. It's a bit more glitchy than I remember it being in my youth. But a lot of fun with this game does come from the innocent glitches that come out of it. Now, I love the boost formula from modern games, but there's just something special about this adventure era. It's got speed when it needs to, but it's built to be at a pace where you can do platforming as well. The two things that I hear people clamor about that they love about classic Sonic so much. The fact that it just blends speed and platforming well together, and I'm sure not everyone agrees with me saying that this is a good 3D interpretation of that. But I enjoy it, and I would like to see it come back. And this is coming from someone who actually enjoys the boost formula. I would be sad if we lost boost formula forever, but I wouldn't mind if they diversified between the two every now and then. And all I'll say is what I've noticed with the fan reaction to the most recent Sonic games, I get the feeling that there's room for that now. People were in love with the boost formula in the past, and we've recently got a game that proves that people like more out of Sonic than just pure boost formula speed. So that leaves me with hope that future Sonic games will reflect this. It's a little hard to recommend change for Sonic because sometimes they try to change too much, and it doesn't really work out as well. But I have faith in the Sonic series, at least more faith than most people, and the fact that I'm not a complete fanboy over it allows me to be open and play other games if the game that I get from the Sonic team isn't exactly the game that I want. Let's just say I enjoy a good Sonic game, but I don't consider myself a Sonic fan. There's other series that capture my love for video games just a little bit more, but there's a lot of fun elements I find out of Sonic games. Point being, I have hope for the future. We have gotten good Sonic games before. Sonic Generations, I'd say Sonic Colors, but I've actually had disagreements on that particular one, but I will stand by Sonic Colors personally. Heck, I'll even throw a bone to Sonic Unleashed. It wasn't a perfect game, but I do give it credit for what we have today from modern Sonic games. For better or for worse, but mostly for the better. And I'm already going off topic, but I do gotta say, Werehog wasn't the end of the world.
He's up to something.
Oh boy. I spent so long just talking about Sonic, and oh boy, I didn't actually die again. I didn't talk about Tails' story at all, and that's the one I thought I was going to be ranting and raving over for hours upon hours. I guess you guys aren't going to get to listen to that edit completely uncommentated here after all. That's why I upload the mute version, so I might as well take advantage of the extra talking time. After this cutscene, of course. Yes, I did swap the Tails story in the middle of that cutscene because it makes more canonical sense for Tails to jump off the cliff and live than it does for Sonic to jump off the cliff. Because one of those two characters can fly, and it's not Sonic. Anyways, if you get the chance, please listen to the mute version of this. I normally don't recommend it because I know some people specifically watch Let's Plays for commentary and some don't, and that's why I separate the two channels in the first place. But these are awesome songs, and I'm really proud of the way I edited them together. I'll definitely have a card up for this specific video, but you can always find my mute channel in the end slates of these videos as well. To summarize, because I doubt I can fit it all in the remainder of this video, I love Tails' story, I just think it's perfect. It is my favorite thing from a Sonic game, and I totally get why that's the wrong opinion, but it is my opinion and I will defend it. Or at least stick by it. The gameplay just gives me exactly what I want from a Sonic game, even if it's not what you're supposed to get from a Sonic game. I find it fast paced, and the fact that you can make shortcuts that even the game didn't intend just gives me a feel of classic games that you don't really get out of gaming anymore. It's a unique feel, which makes it a shame that the levels are so short, or more so that there's so few of them. They're not really short, I just make them shorter than they are intended to be. The character of Tails is perfect for me, and I really enjoy the direction that the story goes in. It's not too dark, but it's not all haha funnies either. There's actually growth of the character over a period of time. And you can actually see a difference between Tails at the beginning of the story and Tails at the end of the story. Like I said, it's not something you see too often in a Sonic game. And yet, it works just fine for a Sonic game. Here's the best example. The final boss of Tails' story. It actually has a climatic feel. Eggman, who is a lot more so in the modern games, isn't taken so seriously. But even back here, like if you just play if you played Sonic or Knuckles' story, maybe even Amy's, like, it's hard to take the guy seriously. But in that final scene, they set the mood perfectly. It's a side of Eggman we don't normally see, and that's because it's through the perspective of Tails, who is still a child, mind you. I can see how Eggman can be intimidating from that angle, that perspective. But the fact that Tails is able to pursue and persevere, regardless of that, just makes a final note to his character arc. Now, I'm sure I could go even further to justify his story and go into every single detail of why I like it so much, but I doubt I can fit that on a video. Heck, maybe I'll make a separate video where I just gush about Tails' story and talk about every single detail of why I like it so much. But in case that never comes around, at least this summary gives you the basic idea. If I sound more quiet, it's actually because I had to cut out all the raving I did about Tails and redo it because it didn't fit in this credit sequence. Yeah, it's that bad. I've already done half the raving if I include that uncutted footage. You can't stop it from happening. I take away a lot more from this story than most people do, and I really hope my playthrough at least allow you to see a perspective, allow you to take in a little bit of the enjoyment I get out of that particular part of the game. Now that I'm done gushing about all that though, thank you all for watching this edition of the Chronological Adventures of Sonic Adventure. My work is done. Yes, in case you never played this game before, there is one more thing we need to do. But the great news for me, it involves zero editing on my end. It is the final story, and it's not squeezed in between certain characters' parts. There's no googling the order involved. It just start up the final story and play it to the end. It'll be fun though, so I hope you guys join me for that as we do the finale of Sonic Adventure.